Hey, yo, sweet peeps, this is Siege. I'm broadcasting to you from the gates of hell, and I am super upset right now about Otto Warmbier. I'm like in a total state of obsession and panic and analysis. So, Otto Warmbier was returned to the United States in state of coma. His parents were informed that he has been in a coma for about a year. And like 2 days after he arrived in the United States, he died. He had extreme brain damage, neurological damage. And we don't know what that's from, but come the fuck on. It's obviously from either beatings or a nerve toxin. Jesus, of course it was. It's really brutal, actually. And I think it's really important to try and put into perspective what really happened here. You have a very young person, an American, the son of a business owner, somebody that graduated second in terms of marks in their high school. You have a bright person who is also a football player. You have a physically healthy, very bright person studying economics and commerce. He was in his third year at college, and he went to China on vacation/cultural exchange and saw the advert for a North Korean tour. This is so intense. The vacation your parents don't want you to take. Yeah. Especially now. Obviously shit didn't go so well for him. He while he was staying in the hotel he was at, in the middle of the night, he went down to one of the staff floors, and ostensibly there's video footage of a large shadowy figure, they presume to be him, taking a propaganda poster that says something like, "We all need the patriotism of Kim," or "We could all use the patriotism of Kim Jong-il," or something like this, along the lines of propaganda support for the authoritarian family of Kim that has been controlling North Korea for some time now. And he took it off the wall and placed it down, and it seems that he probably left it there. It seems like he had some notion that this was a bad idea, and he just left the poster there. And that was unfortunately not enough of a realization. When you are in North Korea, please do not smell the roses. You probably shouldn't go to North Korea if you are an American. They say he was working for the CIA and the enemy state. I mean, this is what you can expect. You're at war with these people. Like, I'm confused, because 20 years ago, this guy, as an American, would not have gone into a communist country thinking he would be okay. Like, there was such a Cold War scare even 20 years ago. What am I talking about? Even at the turn of this, I guess it had switched towards the Arabian paranoia. But like, okay, so let's say, to put even 20, I'm going to say 25, 30 years ago, there's no way in hell an American entrepreneur's son goes to North Korea for fun. This is not going to happen. Okay, well, it happened. And yeah, they executed him for taking a poster and putting it on the ground. That's all they have. They've released the clip. I'll show the clip. And man, it's just like, after that, it's him praying for his life and like him breaking down. People are saying like, why did he break down? What the fuck do you mean? Why did he break down? He was being held by North Koreans, and it seems like presently they either beat him into a coma over a couple of weeks or nerve gassed the guy. There's a very real reason why he would be crying, not to mention that he's 21 years old. How does somebody that majors in economics in the United States not learn about the dangers and the nature of authoritarian states? I thought that was the whole point of the United States, that the United States empire is like what happens when you remove tyranny. I thought that was the whole experiment. Just keep us safe from tyrants and we'll be fine. Like, that's what I thought it was. How does this kid grow up thinking, I'm gonna think it's funny to steal a poster from North Korea on my vacation? Like, is this a failure of like the education system? Is this a failure? Is this like, I'm not for government propaganda. I hate all coercive systems, but like, did they fail to inform this kid that their whole ideology and political system was at war with the ideology that executed him for taking a poster and putting it on the ground? Like, I'm concerned. Is there I'm concerned that I've heard about geographical illiteracy in the United States, but I haven't heard about this kind of thing. Like, to me, as I understand the psychology of Americans, like if you say something like communism, their brains like start exploding with red lights. Like, it is just the most terrifying thing. That's what I've understood, or like communism, or even socialism. Socialism actually is like different than communism. And they're like really highly implementable forms of democratic socialism. We could just add in the word democratic and it becomes a lot different and more palatable and totally reasonable in a lot of cases. But like communism, authoritarian communism. So Hex and Sticks and Hammer, is that his name? Was like, I have no sympathy for this guy. Like, what do you mean? Really? You have no sympathy for this guy? He's just a kid. He's 21. He's 21. When I was 21, I took off and I lived in France for like a year. It was like eating out of trash cans. I was like a hobo for like 6 months living in the streets. It was like, I was gonna say, if my life looked like that the rest of my life. Anyway, I made some fucked up decisions that I shouldn't be, beholden to the rest of my life. A desire and willingness to, like, risk everything and end up in the streets and have a very difficult time of life. And this willingness to risk everything, was really improperly judged. I think in this case, I'm very sad for this person. I'm very sad for Otto Warmbier. I'm very sad for what it means. I'm very sad that there were large numbers of people who thought this was funny when it happened. Like, I'm really disturbed that it's so clear that he so clearly represents the naivete of being born and raised in a country where you're free, that doesn't punish you non-commensurately to your crimes. Solzhenitsyn was put into labor camp for 8 years for writing home to his friend that they were malnourished, that they were starving. Like, that was anti-Soviet propaganda. I don't think, so they judged. It doesn't seem like anti-Soviet propaganda. It seems like somebody griping about their empty stomach. But I mean, that's like the state that we, that is like reality with those kinds of authoritarian socialist regimes. Like, it's not new. The guy won the Nobel Prize for writing about it. Like, how did this person go and study economics, for goodness sakes, in the United States and not learn about the severity of authoritarian socialist regimes? Like, what happened there? Is it just not a focus anymore? Are they shifting towards the socialist? Are they like, what? How could you not know? Anyway, yeah, I mean, if people are being caned and killed in Singapore for minor offenses, it's like, you just got to realize, hey, like, the world doesn't think like you. It really doesn't. It doesn't think like you. And it may be willing to kill you for reasons you don't understand and can't foresee. Yeah. I'm just, I have faith in my fellow man, but sometimes I lack faith in the world. Maybe we can figure that out.